Hi, in this video I'm going to show you very briefly the steps involved in order to watch DStv abroad. Now DStv, as you probably know, is an African video streaming service of the likes of Hulu, Netflix and such on, and it's got quite an impressive range of content, as you probably know. Lots of sport, blockbuster movies, TV shows, lots of English content and local content and African content as well. But the big problem is people find, international viewers certainly, is that as soon as you step outside the African continent, it doesn't work anymore. DStv uses something called geo-blocking, and it only works in Africa. It doesn't matter if you've got an account, doesn't matter if you've got a really expensive account and you're paying for the top premium subscription. As soon as you step outside Africa, it won't work anymore. The reason? Well, it's basically your IP address. When you connect to the application or the website, it looks up your location by checking your IP address. Now, fortunately, there's a way to get past this, and I'm going to show you now. Okay, so first the problem. What happens is, if you're going to try and register for DStv, you need a multi-choice account. If you're outside the UK, outside South Africa, it just won't work. You won't be able to access anything. Let me just refresh the screen on this. I'll show you what you mean. When you're outside South Africa or any African country, you won't be able to actually create an account. You'll see here, it won't let you put the country in. You can put the email address, but you can't create this free ID, which you need to watch the basic service. If you go into the content, here's my account. It's only a free account. But if I try and watch something, I'll get an error message. Here's DStv is temporarily unavailable as something unexpected went wrong. Basically, that's because my IP address isn't African and it's just blocked me out. That it doesn't often say that. You just usually get an error message and so on. So basically, it doesn't matter if you've got an account. It won't work if you're outside Africa. So the steps, and I'll show you how this works in a second. The steps to access DStv abroad, you basically need something called a VPN, which stands for a virtual private network. It's an encrypted tunnel between you and a special server that hides your location and protects your data online. All the data you use through a VPN is encrypted. There's programs called NordVPN and ExpressVPN, for instance, are probably the two biggest. You need to choose a VPN with South African servers. That's very important. You've got to connect to a South African server. Then the website, whereas you visit, will give you will only see the IP address of the VPN server, and it will be South African or African, wherever you choose. And then log in. You can either create or sign into your DStv account, and it'll work perfectly. So let me show you how that works in operation. I'm in the UK at the moment, and I'm going to start my copy of NordVPN, which is my favorite VPN program. There are, as I mentioned, a few before. Your main thing with DStv is to make sure it's got African servers. NordVPN has got servers in quite a few African areas. What I tend to do is use the South African ones. They tend to be the quickest for me, but it might be different from you. You might find the Kenyan ones are quicker, whoever. Just try them out. So we're going to connect to a South African server here. My British computer will connect to the South African VPN server, and then it will look everywhere I go as though I'm in South Africa, in Johannesburg specifically. So let's just go see. So here's the sign up page. I'll just reload that. You can see now I can sign up. It's got a country ID there, so I can pick a country. If you do subscribe to DStv, I'm presuming you've got a DStv account. If you haven't, you need one of these multi-choice accounts. You'll have to get a South African or an African mobile. You don't have to have access to it, but if you want to stream to it, you'll have to register it in here. I just put a fake one in when I did it because I don't have a South African mobile. And then you can put an email address and create a free ID. Just need a password in there. Let's just go and see here where we get the application. Let's go and reload the app. This error message was purely because it saw a UK IP address. Now my UK computer is connected to a South African VPN server, as I showed. It takes a little bit of buffering at the beginning when I first log in. Not too long. And now you can see this is the program I was trying to watch. And you can see hopefully that it streams perfectly. So this is a hockey program on DStv. There's one of the free content, and you see it's a series. You can watch all these, and there's quite a few others that you can watch for free with the free account. But most of the good stuff, you know, the blockbuster movies and the best shows and the other sporting programs, you'll need a paid account. But it's quite a lot of stuff. It's quite interesting to watch, especially if you're from Africa. And that's basically it there is to it. A couple of little points. Creating a DStv account, as I mentioned, you'll need a mobile number. Best if it's one that you've got access to. If you haven't, just put anything in there. But remember, you won't be, if you do sign up and pay, you won't be able to get a stream to it unless it's registered. Payment options, don't worry about if you haven't got an African card, don't worry, they don't seem to check. There's loads and loads of payment options on DStv through MultiChoice. If you use a credit card from anywhere in the world, I think it'll work currently, may change in the future, but at the moment you can just pay with any credit card. Not sure debit cards work because they're more linked to the country. As I say, African mobile number you'll use to create an account. If you have got an account, don't worry about that. But if you get stuck or anything about the account creation, if you've got a friend or a family in Africa somewhere, just ask them to create the account and then you can use the VPN. Remember, all of these things, before you go to the DStv webpage, app or anything, connect your VPN to an African server if you're outside Africa. And that's basically it. A few little points to consider. They don't like you using VPNs. They don't want you to use VPNs. So you could violate their terms and conditions. Same as everybody does all over the world. I watch loads of TV and loads of millions of people watch the BBC, for instance, and we are all violating their terms and conditions, but nobody's ever done anything. Apparently you could get your account deleted if they detect it, but I've never heard of anybody doing that. If you really don't like this sort of doing it a bit shadily, you can find most of DStv programs in other places. You can't always access them, depends where you are. But look at Netflix, Amazon Prime, or different regional services wherever you're located. You can usually find the same stuff. It quite often costs a bit more though. And stay informed. Keep an eye out on DStv and see if they change their policies and stuff. Don't usually, but you never know. So just keep an eye on it, really. I think only these are relevant if you're paying a lot of money for a subscription in advance. Because if you pay a few $100s up front and you get cancelled, your account gets cancelled, that's kind of bad news. What will happen 99.9% times is if you're using a VPN and they detect it, they'll just block it and you just have to go and use another one. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. This is how to watch DStv from abroad, from outside Africa, in places like Europe and UK, wherever. And thank you very much for watching. I hope you all have a lovely day. Oh, incidentally, I've got a discount link at the bottom for NordVPN, my favourite VPN program. If you want to try it out, that works well with DStv. Okay, thanks. Bye for now.